2008 BMW, the good old SUV here. This thing has a window issue on it, and the surprise issue with it, I had to stop what I was doing right in the middle of it because I want to make a video on this now. It's spur of the moment video, but I think it's important for anybody who has one of these. So if you have a window that's not going up or down in these, particularly in this case, it's the driver's window. It quit working. The person who was looking at this originally thought, oh, it's probably just a bad regulator. We'll throw one in. Of course, that's not the case. Door panel was off when I got it because they didn't want to put it back together to find out it has to come apart again. I was investigating some things, and I decided, I'll check wiring because it seemed like if I opened or closed the door, that it would allow some clicking in the module. So there's a module here. This module is the module that controls things like the windows. And then, of course, you have your switch here that sits up on the door and your regulator right there. Also, there's a pass-through connector going in between the door here. I took that pass-through connector off. I had to pull the module back so I could get at everything to disconnect things, and it just made it a little easier. I pulled that out. You probably could have did it without it. But I pulled that out, disconnected, pulled the harness out, pulled everything out here, took all the tape off, checked all the wires to make sure it wasn't a bad door jamb wiring thing because the window was not operating, after, of course, checking the scan tool. Now, these things do have an initialization process if you replace the regulator. You can see this actually has the old regulator in it yet because he got the window to roll back up by manually powering it. So it's a power issue. Now, I did find a code in there saying something about terminal 30 to that box that controls the window, or 30 amp fuse on a terminal to that box not having power. So I thought, all right, I'm going to look at the wiring diagrams. So I brought up my wiring diagrams. Now this is what that's called. It's called a footwell module, left side of footwell. And it's got these power wires going up that direction, those red wires there. We follow that up, and we have this electronic junction box with 30 amp fuses, 2 of which are going to it and a 40 amp. Now the code that it gave me was for these 30 amps. I could not find the code in even my software that gives me codes as far as what it actually means. So maybe it's my scanner giving me a weird code or whatever, but it at least gave me a description explaining that 30 amp fuse. So I thought, aha, this is where I need to look. Junction box under right of dash. Now, if we go to the right of the dash, over here on the passenger side, we have, of course, I don't got my light, do I? Nope, got to get that. So we have this area under here, and you look under here, and there's not a whole lot going on in regards to fuses, at least so it appears. But there's this little Phillips screw right here. You take that guy loose, this falls down. Now, if I can get my light positioned right here, if you look in there, what do we got? I'm going to have to hold this light. I can't have it on my head. See something? There's a fuse sticking up right there. So that 30 amp fuse is quite literally standing out of the box, not all the way attached. So what I'm going to do right here on camera is I'm going to see if setting that back into place suddenly makes the window work. I may have to reinitialize it, I'm not sure, but let's go ahead and do this on camera, where I just push this guy down into place. Wow, it clicked nicely. So now it's down into place. That one looked a little high. There we go. Both of them are pushed down. Let's go ahead and see if that window works. I won't cut this part of the video. We'll go all the way around and do it all live here. Or, as in uninterrupted. Trying to put my headband back on, just in case I need this. We will put the key in this guy. Get some ignition. See that little window that popped up there? That indicates it needs to be initialized. But we're going to try it anyway, just for sharts and giggles. Look at that. I'll be danged. So, in case you have an issue with a window not functioning, you definitely need to make sure that you got power from that fuse panel that's on the other side there. So with that in mind, obviously, this is a situation where you don't typically see. Fuses don't just pop out. Now, a little history lesson on this vehicle. This person bought the vehicle with intent to sell it. It had an alternator no charge situation, and it had a parasitic draw issue. It had all kinds of issues. I made a video on it previously, and it had a ton of where I had to tear this thing down. I mean, I had everything inside this thing just gutted. All the seats were out, the carpet was out, everything. I had to replace some wiring down here that was corroded. I think I found something up there that was a little messed up. I had to kind of clean up. And then I found some sticky garbage underneath the cup holders and all that stuff, of course, too. But I don't recall ever pulling that fuse panel down. So I believe that was also a previous issue that's just somehow magically loosened itself just enough to come up. Now, maybe I was in there. I don't remember it, but I don't believe I was. So if I wasn't, perhaps this can happen to you, and perhaps that's a good reason to bring this video up. So if you had that issue, I would definitely love it if you leave a comment down below telling me you had this issue, just to confirm my hopefulness that this video helped somebody, right? That fuse panel is something I did not expect to find there, and find an issue with it at that. So kind of an interesting circumstance, and with that, I hope to see you on another video. Thanks for watching, and this short little clip will hopefully help somebody. By the way, new light I'm trying out. It's by Liteband, Pure HD 2500. I don't know. I just started using it. I don't know if I like it or not, but there it is. It's got a nice battery pack, and it's USB-C, so you can use that battery pack to charge your phone, which is kind of cool. But anyway, I'm going to throw a link in the description below for those of you looking for a light. It seems like a nice light. I'm indifferent yet, so we'll see. Time will tell. I'm not a big headband light wearer to begin with, so if you love headband lights, maybe you'll like that, maybe not. I know the other one that I had was an issue for me, kind of. So I love the idea of it. It's similar to what that one is, but it's got a different feature that one does not. And I love the feature for most scenarios, not mechanic work, but for most scenarios. Now this one here, oh shoot, I'll throw a link in the description as well for this one. I got to figure out Olight or something. I forget who makes it. I'll have to figure it out. They should have put better branding on here. But they sent this to me to try out. But the nice thing about this one, it's got all the battery and stuff built in, Type-C to charge it. The nice thing about this one here is how thin it is. How it's super lightweight. The other one's a little heavier. But it's got this little feature, this button here. There's a little sensor right here. If you wave your hand across here, you can turn it on and off just by waving your hand by it. You don't have to actually physically touch it. So if your hands are covered in something, you don't have to physically touch it, which can come in handy. It's just, when it comes to working on cars, you have it on your head, and you walk past the car, it turns on or off. You walk past the tire or something, or past the part. So I had a love-hate relationship with that sensor idea, only because of what I do. But out in whatever you're doing, it's awesome. I do got to give it credit for that. It's just a little warm right here if you use the actual beam light. That one's thicker. I don't think I'll have that issue. So we'll see with time. Maybe I'll like that one more. Who knows? Link for both of them in description. I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.